Hi everybody, how are you? Thanks for joining me and watching another episode here. Look at this. Look to the right and look at that tree. Up about 16 feet there, you can see it snapped off and dropped another 40 feet perfectly along the driveway. I couldn't be happier with the way it laid it down there. It missed the flower bed, the sign, and it missed most of the flowers. I couldn't have cut it down any better than that. I had a bid from a contractor to cut that down for about $1,000, so Mother Nature treated me right and laid it down perfectly along the driveway, and I just couldn't be happier. So nothing left to do now but cut it up. So what I'm trying to do now is get the brush crusher underneath the logs that we cut up. But I'm learning a lot here. On a hard surface, that bottom tooth, that bottom grasper, what do you want to call that? That bottom grapple's having a little problem getting under there. In soft soils, it lifts a lot easier. But with a little practice, I was able to guide it underneath there and get everything picked up that I wanted to haul away. Okay, let me explain what I'm trying to do here. The driveway's kind of steep right in this area, about 8%. I've only got a few hours on the tractor, so there's a little bit of, I'm not familiar with it quite yet. I've got the backhoe swung uphill for counterbalance, and I'm pulling on that log, and that's about 40 foot tree section there. And I'm not real comfortable with this. It's just, you know those voices you sometimes have in your head and tells you, stop this isn't going to turn out well. This is exactly what was going through my head at this time. So we're going to abandon this real quick. Okay, so it's back to the chainsaw. We're going to break this up into some smaller pieces so I can handle it a little bit better. And then I'm going to cut that great big long piece into 3 or 4 pieces. So here's my second attempt now with picking up the logs off the blacktop, and it went a little bit easier. So a couple of times that I'm going to have this behind me, and that worked pretty well. Then it was time to take on the bigger tractor. Now watch, just notice how fast it goes around that big log. See the dirt underneath it? That bottom grapple was able to go into the ground and get around it quickly. But it's too long. So I gave my wife a chainsaw for a birthday present one day, and it worked out real good. She got on there and trimmed that down to about a 16 or 20 foot log. Now I'm on the way down the hill. I'm trying to shift out of 4-wheel drive here, but do you notice what I did not do? Look at the backhoe. I got the backhoe swung downhill, and I could feel that right away with the tractor. So I got off, swung that around the other side, and raised my comfort level. Felt a lot more secure with that being on that uphill side. So with the backhoe swung around there, I was able to go down the driveway and take this down where I'm going to have it picked up. So I want to make this easy on a friend of mine that's going to bring his trailer down and pick this up later. So I'm putting all my logs down here. It's easier to get them with the trailer. And the brush grapple there, a brush crusher, picked it right up and put it right where I wanted it to go. Real handy. Again, notice how quickly it gets around that log and picks it up real nice because it has that soft ground underneath it. This was a pretty good lift here. This is a pretty good sized log. And later you're going to see I chop a foot of that off and weigh it because I wanted to know how much weight was on that grapple. Nice having the backhoe on there when you're lifting something that heavy. Excellent counterbalance. Here's a view from the driver's seat. Notice how you can see through the center of the grapple, unlike some other ones that have that big fence there and you can't see through it. Look, you can see your whole load, see where you're going. Nice comfort level there of being able to see what you're, where you're going and what you're doing. But look, the log takes up my whole driveway. The asphalt across there is about 12 feet, and it's left and right of that a little bit, so that's an honest 14, 15 feet log there. Alright, so we're putting that back in place. You're going to get a kick out of the next video when I load these on a friend's trailer. I'm going to show you how not to use the brush crusher. So you're going to want to see that video when it comes out. Okay, back at the pile, we've got a few more to pick up. And we're back on hard surface here, so let's see how this goes. Okay, I've decided to call these fangs, the upper and lower fangs. I think that's pretty clear, isn't it? So I've got the lower fang has got underneath there, and the top one has grabbed a hold of it just fine. Look, it picked it right up, and down the road I went, so it worked out pretty well. Nothing left to do but chop down this last 16 foot. Listen to it hit the ground. It's pretty solid. The way it takes off, I thought it might roll the next county, but that tree catches it there just in time. Alright, nothing left to do, but let's chunk this one up. And this is a pretty good diameter log. So let's chop it up and haul it away. Okay, so I have the same problem here again. Got a sloping hill. I'm pricking up a pretty good load, but the lengths of the logs are a lot more manageable. Look at how the fangs get underneath that right away, and how easy they get under that when you're on soil. Alright, so down to the wood pile, we'll drop it off and come back and repeat this. I am really enjoying the 2.5 inch spacers I put on this machine right now. The extra 1,000 pounds of this machine over the 1025 and that extra 5 inches or so with the spacers and the design, I guess it's more than that. I've got a lot more comfort level just throughout this video of operating that machine on a sloping hill. You'll note that I have the backhoe swung around to the uphill side. It's picking up these logs just fine. Well, I wanted to prove to you that I was not making numbers up. Here's about a 10-inch section of that log, about 13 pounds, and I used that information to calculate the weight of those logs. My buddy had a stump grinder and was doing a few jobs around his house, so he volunteered to come over and grind my stump out. That made that real easy. And here's a demonstration of me using the thumb and the backhoe. It's kind of nice for picking up logs and chunks and taking those down to the wood pile also. I'll have more on that when we demo the gazebo. Well, with that out of the way, nothing left to do but get some black dirt, seed, and fertilize down. Here I'm using the weasel that I like so much to blend that all together. I use a burlap and I'm watering it every couple days. It's really hot, it's August, and let's see how that turns out. So a couple of weeks later, here's some pictures of it. Not real happy with it. It was just so doggone hot, I don't think I could keep it wet enough. The grass there kind of looks like the hair on the top of my head. So we're going to reseed that this fall. Sometime after September, that's the best time to grow seed in Iowa. I did go out and get my fertilizer for the fall feeding. 650 pounds there. The tractor picks it up with ease. So we put that away, get that ready here for a couple of weeks. We got that tucked away, and what I want to show you next here, we'll get the tractor put away. I want to show you the new aerator I purchased. It's a used aerator. Brought it from a friend of mine, Mark, down in Indiana, and excited to get it. It's a drum roller. It's going to be a little bit different than I'm used to, but I'm anxious to get it out and give it a try. It's a big unit, quite heavy, a lot of tines there. I'm going to have some fun with that. I got about 3 yards to do. Well, that's all I have for my little piece of the world out here in eastern Iowa. So long. Have a great month. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.